Quarantcast, everybody. And today is a very special day because I have a good friend of mine and one of the first people I ever met at Griffin Rawl Academy, who we're not there anymore, but we met at Griffin Rawl in Mentor, Ohio. One of my favorite MMA fighters in the world, Bonesaw himself.
Oh, stop.
Ooh,
Oh,
George
stop it.
Comer.
Stop it.
Oh, I'm not, because still I watch that first fight of yours on YouTube all the time, and it fucking, dude, the intensity is amazing. Plus, the Shawn Michaels pose at the end is always.
You know what? Not a lot. I'm glad you recognize that. Not a lot of people do. But that was my first MMA win. I know. Afterwards, I think I was able to dial it down, act like you've done it before kind of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little excited, and I totally rocked out like a Shawn Michaels. Flex there.
You fucking dominated that guy though through pretty much until the finish. You were in control of that fucking kid. He didn't know whether to scratch his ass or wind his fucking watch. It was awesome.
You know, you could tell I always had a strong wrestling base, but that double leg was like killer. That was like a straight like college wrestling, uninhibited like double leg. I don't even have that anymore because I'm so scared of getting guillotines. So it's different, but I remember I was punching him, man. I knocked his mouthpiece out.
Yeah,
he spit his mouthpiece out. I hit him like three or four more times, and then they called it a TKO.
It was awesome. And for those of you, I know I'm getting excited, but I'm always excited whenever I see George. George Comer is an instructor and MMA fighter at Revolution Fight and Fitness in Euclid, Ohio. You can catch them on all the social medias at George. What is the thing? What do you got?
Most of the time, it's Revolution F&F or just Revolution Fight and Fitness. We're definitely, we're on most social medias. We got a pretty killer Instagram is where we kick it a lot. Our Facebook's, decent, but we're really active on Instagram, and so are our members. So a lot of content and updates are on there.
Absolutely. I always love seeing you guys for someone's birthday, taking the Thai pads and smacking them in the abs. It's cool to see that and go to a gym, because I've been going to you guys almost since you opened. I think
You moved back shortly after.
Yeah. I was living in Denver when you guys opened the gym, and then I showed up when I moved back to Cleveland. And I haven't left. I love every time you invite me up. I'm always ready to, roll, learn new stuff. And something I was going to say before our first recording got taken away from us is, for those of you that have ever thought about going to any kind of MMA gym or boxing gym or anything like that, give it a try. There's always, that you get some bad apples here and there, but at the same time, a place like Rev is perfect. It's at the NEO Sports Plant. It's right off of Euclid Avenue if you're ever in Cleveland, Ohio. And it's very affordable. I love the drop-in prices, and everything like that are very affordable for the classes. I love it, George.
I appreciate it, man. And then I think, one of the things I'm most proud of at our gym now, since we started it, and then it's like one of the reasons I think you mesh and fit in so well is just we have excellent culture.
Yeah.
It can be intimidating going to a boxing fight gym. Everyone's intimidated. There's a bunch of fighters. They want to beat you up and choke you out. But, it's not like that. You learn that quick at the Rev, that everyone's super cool. Everyone's down to earth. And we're there to work out, but we're there to have fun and socialize and have a good time. So that's something I really appreciate, with the coaches and the members.
Oh, absolutely, man. And that's like, whenever I come in, it's like a home. I love the place. I love being there. I love watching even like the boxing. I forget who you guys had come in that was boxing some of the guys. This was months ago.
He's kind of like an adopted member. It was probably Montana Two Love.
Probably.
Who was it? Too Good Looking or something like that. Montana Love. Yeah, he's a cool dude. Straight boxer. Boxes for Showtime. And he's a great guy. Him and his coaches are there. They're kind of like it's a relationship, so we were kind of like our stepson for our team.
Yeah.
Sanford went up there and wrapped their hands for their last fight, and it's cool. It's a good learning experience for MMA guys to just box with a straight boxer. It's different.
And the fights I saw were for sparring sessions. Jesus Christ, that kid can crack. I was like, what?
He does, and
I was getting more distracted. I was going to be in the MMA class. I was getting more distracted watching him. And I'm just like, I'm going to go
Oh,
home.
and you know what? Yeah, don't worry. You're not the only one. And it drives me nuts sometimes, like when that's happening. Yeah. And like, cause I'm going over some boring detail with the darts or like, I'm like, okay, guys, if you get your wrist just a little bit further, it really adds a lot. And then meanwhile, there's just these two grown men beating the shit out of each other. And like, everyone's just looking past me. It drives me bananas sometimes, but it's all right. He likes sparring the MMA guys because they're intense.
Yes.
They're heavy, they're intense. They like so they get a lot of rounds with them. It's cool.
Plus, it gives also your guys a chance to learn from a dude who's on a big stage, who
Mhm.
was them at one point with, they may have good striking, but they don't have something that an HBO or an HBO or Showtime boxer would have. And it was kind of cool watching. I think it was him and Eric Pozan um, sparred, and I watched that. And Eric was good at holding them up, but Love just came
Yeah.
in. Love just came in.
It's an interesting, and it's an interesting concept, and I don't think a lot of people realize that when you're an MMA fighter
Mm-hmm.
and you're this blend, it's really become its own sport.
Yes.
And boxing on its own is a whole nother animal. Wrestling on its own is a whole nother animal. Jiu-jitsu on its own is a whole nother animal. So it really, when you blend all that, like you really are, you're a good striker, but you're not a great, boxing striker.
Yeah.
Or someone that's never, when you get someone like Montana Love, who has never thought about blocking a kick, someone who's never
Yeah.
thought about worrying or never had to worry about a takedown. He's never even had that. So like he just lets the punches fly. He's only one dimensional for that sport. In comparison to MMA. But I mean, it's beautiful. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
someone who's never had that, being pulled away from that sport like that. It's fun.
Ooh, and I'm not. And again, I'm going to go on record by saying this. I'm not talking trash or anything. I'm just saying of what I'm saying. The thing I'm saying is, it was fun to like. That's why I like your gym, is because you do get that mixture of, you can watch those kind of things happen in between sessions, or and you can see like a guy who's on Showtime boxing a cage fighter and just be like, oh, this is cool. Like, we
Yeah,
all
right.
learned. You can attest to this with Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. We saw that, what you just said, that there is a difference between MMA striking and there is a difference between boxing striking. They both,
Yeah,
that
the
was the
superior, the more like highest level MMA striker, one of them anyway.
Yeah.
Then when we look at him against a boxer, he won nothing.
Oh, he went. And the thing is, like,
I mean, he had his moments,
well,
but
no,
yeah,
he got worked, but it was because of the fact that he just couldn't hit Floyd. I mean, I'm going to admit that he just couldn't hit Floyd. He made him look like a fool, but there were that one uppercut kind of made me wince, where I go, no, he's not. If he would have hit
I
that
would have hated
uppercut,
it if Connor would have knocked him out.
that would
If
have.
he would have got lucky and like snuck one in there, I would have been so salty. I'm not a big Connor fan. I would have been so salty.
I know you're not a big Connor fan, man. I like Connor, and they're saying also Jorge Masvidal is going to be his next opponent, which I'm kind of interested in. I got Jorge
He'll beat the shit
Masvidal.
out of him too. I mean, Masvidal is a little bigger. I mean,
Well,
that's.
I was thinking also the fact that, one, it's a 5-round fight and Connor's gas tank, and
Oh,
Jorge's
Connor! I thought
gone.
you were talking about Mayweather. For a
No,
second. I
I'm taking
apologize.
Jorge.
Yeah.
I'm definitely taking Jorge on that fight just because of that.
Yeah, he struggled. He really struggled against Diaz the first time because of the size, right? He couldn't put him down, wore
No.
out, and then Diaz beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. And also the fact, and he has just that, I think he has that one track, like a lot of fighters, regardless, have that one thing. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling's getting the pin within, before the time's up or whatever. Some guys have that, I'm going to take him out in one thing. And I think Connor uses that way too much in his fighting, but it is exciting. And that's the one sad negative or positive of the whole thing. Out of that negative is, quick thing. Yeah, it's cool. But in the long run, a guy like Jorge Masvidal is going to rip you to shreds.
Yeah, right. When you get someone that's a little more dense, someone that a little heavier, can take a hit like that. It changes things up a little bit.
Fuck yeah. And also, and we're going to change the subject real quick, because honestly, Yeah, I'm here because we're gonna talk like friends, my buddy. We are going.
I'm hoping if you don't bring it up, I'm bringing it up next. But go ahead. I
Oh
have a
no,
feeling.
I'm actually gonna tell a story before we get into the
Oh,
subject.
okay.
Before we started recording the podcast today, and it's May the 5th, so of the time of this recording. But I got in the shower and I thought, what is the best music that like? What is something we've bonded on that I can get in the mood for? A podcast with George Comer. So I literally put on nothing but Mushroom Head and Insane Clown Posse shit. And we're gonna get to ICP first because we've talked on my old podcast, the Big Fat Combat Show, which you can hear on the Big Fat Podcast Network. But I'm no longer a part of that. I'm with the Side Angle Network, which is my own. You can actually get an audio version of this podcast on the Side Angle Network on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else you get your podcast. And you can get this video on my YouTube channel, Ray Hyclak. See how I snuck that in, George? I like it.
Snuck it in. Seamless.
Oh, it was beautiful. But I was listening to, what was one of the songs that I was listening to of the it's a newer one, but it got me in the mood for everything. And it was In Your Face, that new stuff that they had just come out with, like right after they split with Magic Ninja. And then it turned into How Many Times, which we got sad for a second.
I was what was song? Oh yeah, because they kind of ICP kind of went viral with. We're surprised that they're still growing an audience, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
But they kind of went viral on TikTok because the young kids are playing the Chop Chop Slide.
Yes.
Have you seen that? So what they do is like the young kids will post a video and they'll be like singing the song with their parents in the room. And it's like that part where they're like, ninjas are never scared to cuss, so let it out. And then like these young kids will go, fuck, shit, motherfucking pussy, whatever, I can't remember. And then the parents like get a reaction and then they cut it. And that's like a internet thing right now with the young kids.
And I love the fact that Juggalo Culture is sort of like springboarding, back into prominence. There's this weird thing that like you said on TikTok, I can't remember what song it was, but it would be this thing where you were like saying a normal thing and then be like, it was oh god, the song was like,
let it come.
Fuck you. Wicked
Yes.
clowns, we like to say what's up to the jokers, X-Men and counts, and everybody with clown love, even sets I never heard of. That leave it in the comments, boys and girls. This is gonna be a Juggalo-rific episode, and I'm making a Juggalo logo, as you've seen on the thumbnail right now as you're watching this. But I'm making a special logo for this. But yeah, that song, and it's basically all of a sudden just like, and it's them in clown makeup when they're just like normal kids. I've noticed that stuff on TikTok.
Is that just a Great Malenko? Just a song, Great Malenko, with Great Malenko.
It's on the Great Malenko album.
Ha 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 ha! Great Malenko.
No, I can't remember what it is, but it's the line is wicked clowns. We'd like to say what's up to the Cobras, X-Men, and counts. And if I'm using any of those wrong, I apologize. Or anybody with clown love, even sets I never heard of. Rolled into town and out with the big top, 4 cards down and 2 more still to drop. And if it does, I pack up and hit the road because I don't want to see your head explode. God damn it. Why do I not know this song? Leave it in the comments. Anyway,
you know everything else about it.
I do, because I've listened to these fucking songs since I was in 8th grade.
You know what I'm really so what I'm really sad about is that I think you and me someone may have shared a post about it, but yeah, they had to cancel the gathering, which was back in Ohio.
Yes.
It was in
Garrettsville.
Dune Falls.
Yeah, Garrettsville.
Yeah,
it was right. It was at Nelson Ledges where it all began, and they were gonna do it. They were gonna do it there. But I will say, this disease,
that would have been a good time,
dude, for sure. My only thing with it though is
I just want to go and people watch too. I just want to see the crazy, like the serious Juggalo people.
Exactly.
Dude, we could bring your podcast there and just interview like Juggalos all day. Oh my gosh.
I plan to, when the rebrand happens, probably first episode will be Gathering of the like the rebrand will be Gathering of the Juggalos. That'll be my first video podcast for that thing because we'll have a tent. I'm gonna have a whole fucking thing because I'm going to the Gathering of the goddamn Juggalos if it's in Ohio. If it's in Ohio,
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
so going because it's been in what,
It's
Columbus, Chicago. I think it was in Illinois. It was in Rockford, Illinois for like a hot second, and then it was in like Indiana too, I think.
yeah, I think last year it was in Columbus, wasn't it?
No, last year I think it was in Rockford. I think it was in Rockford, or no, it wasn't in,
Okay.
because Thornville was like 2015, I think 2016. So I'm a nerd.
Is it that long ago? Jeez.
I know. Yeah, they
All
haven't
right,
really.
maybe it was 2015. I thought I had Snapchat the last time they were because I was looking at the Thornville area and I was trying to watch.
I think they went for like a couple of years and then they moved it to they moved it to like Illinois because like Thornville got pissed. That's actually why they moved it out of Garrettsville, is because I actually had family that lived in Garrettsville during the height of the gatherings in Garrettsville. And like they would have outages all the time. They would have outages because of how much wattage was going like out into Nelson's Ledges for the gathering. It's hilarious.
Wow. And I wonder, do they, you've never been there. I don't know. Maybe we could Google it or look on YouTube, but I'm wondering if they just use a stage that's there or if they bring their own stage and like really crank it up. I wonder.
I think what they do is sort of like festival it, where they'll have like, you know, the pooty, the big stank stage over there and like little poot over there, and then main stage is like something, and then there's a wrestling ring right in front of the main stage. I'm hoping like that's usually my dream.
And then, you know, the one cool thing about the Newton Falls one or whatever, if you get too dirty or gross, you could just jump off the cliff into the water and then like rinse off at least.
Yeah, the quarry. And I want I heard rumor of the I want to see the drug bridge just as like a casual viewer. I guess there's like a bridge that they have or something, and they call it the drug bridge.
I've been there. I don't know what the drug bridge is, but now I'm dying to find out.
Well, I've heard some stories about Nelson's Ledges from cousins of mine.
Oh, you've never been there?
Never. Because I was too young during that time. I'm only 30. So it's like I feel like all the best shit kind of passed me by when it came to adult stuff. Besides Ozfest, I got to experience Ozfest once. And that was
good though.
Great.
Dude, I don't think you're too old to experience.
Too young.
Not that we need to dive too deep into the
too young to have experienced like the big shit.
And there's still like they still have that popular Sublime cover band, and they still get like those party rock bands to like play there. But
yeah,
I maybe talk to you a little bit off the record here, but yeah, there's still.
Oh yeah, well, anything you want off record, just say it's off record. I'm not gonna. We will not go further until it's off record. I've said that many times on this show. We'll talk after the show.
But yeah, I forget when we were there. Just like last time I was there was just this crazy guy like walking around, and he's like staring at me like all like out of his mind. He's like, "Hey man, do you hear about the wizard with the magical mushrooms or like the crazy raindrops?" And like, I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking crazy. And they're like, yeah, he's trying to sell you drugs. You know, I'm like,
I love some people's first square moments where like somebody uses code around you and you just feel like a dummy.
Exactly. I was not one of the cool kids when he was communicating that.
No,
I was not. I was one of the squares.
Dude, my favorite one was I'm at Rock on the Range 2010, right? My brother goes off. He's like 15. I'm 20. I'm like, okay, I know you have a cell phone. You can tell me where things are. So he goes over and sees like Shaman's Harvest, or no, he goes to see Kill Switch Engage. And I stay to see Seven Dust because I'm a big Seven Dust fan. And
that's the split. They made Kill Switch and Seven Dust. Like they made them overlap.
They made it at the
That's a tough
same
one.
time. Yeah.
Who the hell is programming that?
I don't, dude. How about this? They put that year they put Non-Point on the like Jägermeister small stage. And I think, and then, but the only one that I was the one that really kind of made me, it was the obvious choice for me personally was Skillet and Papa Roach played at the exact same time. I stayed for Skillet.
See, I probably would have picked Papa Roach. Again, those are like they spent a lot of money on those bands, and like people probably bought tickets for Skillet or for Papa Roach, and I'm surprised they made them overlap. And you're saying they played at the same time, so you had to pick one or the other.
Yeah, you kind of had to just choose one. I think they staggered it by like 10 minutes or something, but it wasn't like.
Oh yeah, so you're missing
most of whoever you miss, like that kind of shit. But I did get high and watch the Deftones. That was fucking awesome. That was so good.
You know what? I love the Deftones. I want to see them. I do. I feel like I have a very controversial opinion. I think White Pony suck. I fucking hate White Pony. And everyone acts like it's this zenith of like new metal. Like that's the album to represent like my generation. And I fucking hate it.
It's not. And I'm gonna agree with you, dude. Like for your like new metal generation, on it. What would you say? What would you say would be the album that would like define new metal in like the the 90s?
There's a couple. I would say. If I had to say a band that is still like rocking and rolling now, I would either say A, Korn, or B, Slipknot. But if I had to go one that kind of fell out, I would probably say Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. And ironically, I saw Limp Bizkit at Rock on the Range 2010.
Dude, I want to see them this year. They're on my list, just like I was talking about The Gathering. Like Limp Bizkit's on my list of bands like I want to see. And then they're playing at Incarceration Fest.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen. So like I'm holding off on buying tickets.
I haven't seen any news about it because I follow them on Facebook, so I haven't seen anything. So
yeah, you know what? Probably what I'll do is I'll bite the bullet. Probably my birthday is early June. So you know what? If they don't, I'll treat myself. Whatever, they'll just refund my money. But yeah. So yeah, I would say
tell you what. What I was gonna say real quick was the sober story or the square story. So we're at Rock on the Range. I'm sitting in the bleachers because I had general admission, and this guy was like, "Hey man, do you party?" And I'm like, and I knew what party meant because like my dad had a lot of friends who partied in the '80s. Exactly. It's just like, what the hell? And then I thought, no. And he's like, no, I meant just smoke weed. And I went, oh, okay.
See, okay. I immediately went a degree higher. Like,
yeah.
I feel like most people would just be like, you smoke weed.
Yeah, no.
Like, party is like the next level
yeah,
up. Like,
he went party.
Like a little sniffy sniff.
That's,
yeah, like a little coca.
Yeah. The way I love how I put the camera right on you and you look like you were interrogating me.
No, I think I would have done the same thing with you. I feel like that guy was more out of touch than you. I feel like a young person would just be like, hey man, you smoke weed, you know.
But yeah, with the new metal, I would say it's probably Iowa was a great album by Slipknot. That was one of the first like new metal albums that I bought on my own as like a kid. Nice. I handed it to my mom and then handed her money and went, I want this.
That's awesome. I think it was a killer album, man. Not to mention it was their second album and it was fucking heavier and it was better, which is like unheard of. Usually their first album's always the heaviest. Then they sell out a little bit. They smooth it out. Like Slipknot didn't do that, which is fucking cool.
When they came out on that album with the fucking them just screaming, I think that was the first one where they were just screaming, or second album where the first song was them just going, and then it goes into My Plague, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. No, I believe it was called People Equal Shit, and it is a fantastic song.
That's it. Yes. Oh, dude, I love that. Was one of the first like metal bands where I went, this is mine. Like I want to be a part of this culture of just
You know, you heard him, if I'm 5'5", then I'm 6'6", and you're just like, that's me.
A little bit, and then People Equal Shit was the other one where it just became like a kid gave them to me in 6th grade, like a printout version of the lyrics. I'm just reading this, going, "This is the greatest shit I've ever read. How can I get a hold of this?"
I think it's cool because I think it's kind of like an ode to like late 80s like death metal where it's like got
Yeah.
these super vulgar lyrics. So like they went there a little bit. It's cool.
Are you into like any like black metal or any like stuff like Gorgoroth?
Not a ton. Lately I kind of, what, for some reason the last year I'm really becoming kind of like an audiophile. Like I just kind of like music for music and I'm just appreciating like all genres. But you know what? I for some reason there's not really a black metal band that I just like, I'm like, yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. The traditional stereotypical black metal voice just doesn't do it for me that much.
Yeah.
I don't care about the devilly stuff. I think Ghost is fantastic, and it cracks me up, and I just love it. Especially when they're like, "Well, no, we're not devil worshippers," but the band. I'm just like, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome."
Especially like, and you're a wrestling fan, so you can appreciate kayfabe all day. Like it's some of like anytime I like that kind of stuff. Like when bands will do that, like when Fozzy. Speaking of a wrestling band, like when Fozzy started out, do you remember when Fozzy started out with Chris Jericho in the WWF, and he was a totally different guy, and the rest of the band were totally different people. And
you know what? I didn't know much about their persona. So did he switch it up a little bit? I was just listening to him like a couple weeks ago. It's funny.
I'll send you a clip from, I think it was Opie and Anthony. They basically just ripped him to shreds, not by like being funny, but like trying to not make it a thing and be like, what are you doing? Like, where are you?
Opie and Anthony. They're funny, but God, they were dickheads.
Oh.
Like they probably like when I think about it, like some of it was funny, and then sometimes I'm like, guys, you guys were fucking dickheads. I'm glad you got canceled.
Well, Anthony got them. Well, technically, Anthony got them canceled after.
What was the final straw? Because I know they had the Sex Olympics, and that took them off the like main.
The Sex for Sam.
You can't encourage people to have sex in public, and
especially at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. The last straw really was they were on the outs with Sirius XM a little bit. Opie was being a bit of a dick, and he is a dick. I even wrote on somebody's Twitter yesterday that he made this thing about Anthony and that he doesn't need Anthony. To be honest, Anthony was the fucking comedian in that fucking group besides Jim Norton, asshole. So anyway,
Jim Norton was fucking funny on that show. I listened to that.
I was actually just watching before I got on with you the Chip Chipperson podcast, the podcast. It's
I've never watched it.
It's a character from Opie and Anthony that he took, and now it's basically run his life.
Like you can't escape it.
Yeah, no, not at all, dude. And it's pretty funny because he wears like some wigs and hats and talks like this and is like, what are you, cage fighter? What are you, like, wrestle bands or something?
I just remember like all of us in middle school, we would like listen. We had after school, like after like football or wrestling practice, we'd listen to like the 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant radio, hilarious.
I had DirecTV.
Hilarious.
I had DirecTV, so they were on XM, and that was a channel. And I was like 13 when I discovered them. and it was around the time of like Lacey Peterson, and when they did a thing about, because there's this one parody, and I'll send it to you, and then I'll send you the O&A bit. I can't do like the whole thing. But they made fun of this really bad tribute song to Lacey Peterson and made like some of the most dark shit ever. Like one of the lines was like they were talking about him holding like a Connor Peterson holding seaweed in his hands and going, "Mama, this for you." Like it was. Oh, I love it. It's so funny. O&A is the best. To me, they're fun.
Gosh, I remember. What would I remember was gosh, even though like this would never fly today, and it's actually not even cool, but I guess when you're like 12 or something like that. Remember the Coors Light used to have the twin girls, and everyone was like, "Ooh, sexy twins!" Like that was like a thing.
Yeah.
And gosh, I remember they had them on for an interview, and they like did like a serious interview. And the last question was, "Oh my gosh, it's like hurting my feelings." And this is like, and they're like, "Do you guys? When are you guys gonna realize that you're a couple of talentless hacks with nothing like to offer?" And they like they were silent, and then they hung up, and they were like laughing about it. I'm like, dude, that's brutal, man.
Dude,
Like, chill the fuck out.
believe it or not, they use that in their intro to their show right after it happened. They would do Ecstasy of Gold and then Street Fight and then do like a montage of like audio clips under like heavy metal and then would go into Street Fighting Man by Rage Against the Machine. And they actually used that for like months in their
Brutal.
they didn't
Brutal.
care. That was what I
They don't
loved
care.
about that. That's what, and they were also the people that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing stand up. Like I saw them at 17 with their traveling buyers comedy tour that they did, that they brought with like Jim Norton, Patrice O'Neill, Bill Burr right after the Philadelphia incident. I was in the crowd after that, and they tried to boo him like they did in Philadelphia. He's like, "I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it."
Won't do it. Won't do it. Hey, you know what though? I will say this though. I don't think comedians, especially stand-up comedians, I don't think they should ever be canceled or banned for anything that they say. That's their medium, man. You need to.
Oh yeah,
They should be allowed to push boundaries. You should be allowed to be rude.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I think let the audiences decide. You know,
Oh yeah, and that's kind of
don't sell tickets to their show. Then they won't buy tickets for the show, and then places won't book them. But let them say what they want to say.
And even then, they were still like they would come to Cleveland, like where we live. They would come to Cleveland. We were still on like XM because we were a good market for them and stuff like that. So they would do stuff with like local comedians as well. And then, but the reason they got canceled is Anthony was taking photos in Times Square, and some woman was like, "Don't you take pictures?" This is his story. "Don't you take pictures, motherfucker." Like it starts hitting him, and he's just like, "No." And then he started writing on Twitter a bunch of racially based tweets that, yeah, they were. But now, though, luckily, I subscribe to his, and everybody should, Compound Media, which is our Compound America now, I believe is what they call it as well. He has a buddy of mine, Dave Landau. You should check him out. He has a special on Netflix and a movie on, or not Netflix, Amazon Prime, and a movie called The King, The King of Detroit on Amazon Prime as well. I'm probably going to watch that later, but that's just a quick plug for Dave because I love Dave. But yeah, and he does way better now. Anthony does. Opie's like meh, and then Jim Norton and Sam Roberts, the intern from Opie and Anthony, have a show. And while Sam also works for the WWF or E as well. So, what did you watch WrestleMania? By the way, do you watch? Is that your?
No, I was just watching everyone's reaction on Facebook, and I was even on part of a group that was like everyone was watching it but me. So I was kind of getting the updates, and it seemed like people were very for someone who hasn't watched it, it seemed like it was very polarizing.
It was I have a thing up on my YouTube right now with Side Angle Wrestling, which is the podcast I do with Dan Brown. But we did a thing. We talked about that Undertaker match that happened, that Boneyard match that you probably saw people talking about on Facebook. I fucking hated it. It was so bad. I'm literally grinding my teeth watching it, going, "This is fucking fuck you, COVID-19. Fuck you for making this happen." It was so.
You're the reason I have to watch this bullshit right now, COVID.
Oh my god! It was just like there's this one show I like called Code Monkeys. They have this episode about E.T. the video game, and this kid's walking around going, "My parents divorced me, or my parents got divorced. You killed my baby brother. Why, God? This is the one thing I wanted." Like, it was just terrible. I felt so just cheated. Luckily, I only pay $9.99 a month, so it's not that bad. But Jesus Christ, that was
Imagine if you would spend like $100, like
Vince McMahon would have gotten a handwritten letter by me with like my blood on the envelope going, you
it would have
did.
been a YouTube video of you like, you made me do this. You're like, cut. And you just bleed it out like.
Oh, but here's the other thing though about like the other match that they had that was like a pre-tape match that was sort of like cinematography wise, it fit the guy that it was for because he's established as this new like evil in the world, and he just takes him through all this stuff. They had an NWO thing that was pretty funny where they were like, what if John Cena was in the NWO? And he comes out in an NWO shirt like Hogan in '97 and shit. I loved it.
Dude, I love John Cena. I just think he's a fantastic, like, I love what he brings to cinema.
Yes.
Like, he's not trying to like outstep his realm, but he just kills it all the time as this like super macho guy.
Oh yeah.
And like, I welcome him anytime like they want him to play that role. Like, he's hilarious.
Oh yeah, man. Him and I loved him in the Marine just because that was like the first Marine movie was well written, just on like Arnold Schwarzenegger bad pun level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I love those kind of movies. And John Cena, for anybody that doesn't like him, I'm not really that big of a fan on like, you know, the wrestling side, just because again, it's the please go away so I can love you again. But at the same time, like he's our Hulk Hogan of like our generation, because you're, you know, 35.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we're in the same generation. He's basically our Hulk Hogan, like the guy that came along and just like swept wrestling over. And
See, I think I would beg to differ. Being 35, man, in middle school, The Rock was coming up. He was still, when I was in middle school, The Rock was still in the Nation of Domination.
yeah.
And then you watch it, and then like him and Stone Cold was like the best shit ever.
See though, I put Rocky just because he can act. Like John Cena, for all intents and purposes, can like, in my opinion, like high school theater act. You know,
Yeah.
Rocky.
I mean,
Rocky can fucking act. Like he's good. And that's why he's more of like Ric Flair. He had all the style, the like championship charisma, and didn't give a shit, and just came out and was like, I'm fucking God. What do you got?
so good. The Rock and Sock Connection, still my favorite tag team, hands down.
Dude, I was actually watching a couple nights ago that took, I think it was eight of it's long. It's like 10-15 minutes. The Rock and Sock This Is Your Life segment from Monday Night Raw. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember it. Maybe it might come back to me when you.
All right, so basically Mankind comes out and has like a bunch of presents and all kinds of different shit for Rock,
And he's always annoyed by him. Like,
yeah,
Mankind always thinks it's a great idea. And The Rock is always like embarrassed, or he's always like looking at him.
yeah,
It's so good. So good.
And they bring out Yerples the clown from the Vince McMahon fucking in a hospital where Steve Austin hits him with a bedpan.
Oh, yeah.
They bring that clown back. They bring the Rock's high school gym or football coach. And this thing's like 15 minutes, and it was supposed to be like a 5-minute thing. And it was one of the highest rated segments in Raw history. And it's because of Rock and Mick Foley both just made that whole thing, man.
They killed it. That was a great coupling. That was a great grouping. Whoever thought of that.
It's interesting, especially when you think about tag teams, and you think, because like my tag teams would be like the Road Warriors, the Midnight Express,
right? They always match, and those two did not, and it was just gold.
Well, that's the funny part about that is like the fact that they were opposites, and they had that like, because even like the Midnight Express, you had Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey. They went by two different names in the group, but they were under the Midnight Express. Like those, I would say that like the Midnight Express of the 90s for sure was Mick Foley and the Rock, without a doubt. Every time that we're in tag team matches, I wanted to see it. How can you not? One of the best fucking live acts ever. Do you know, by the way, that's one guy I've never seen live is The Rock? I've never seen The Rock wrestle. He's the one guy.
Dude, I wish I'd go back in time because I think tickets were relatively cheap. When he sang that song when he was a bad guy, he's like, The Rock thinks Cleveland is totally lame. How did this dump get the Hall of Fame? I'm like, yeah, that is fucking gold. You were awesome.
That character was one of his best because of that big ass Brahma bull belt buckle he had. Just obnoxious. So obnoxious.
He's a great good guy, great bad guy. Yeah, no, he's good.
And I mean, he came from great stock too. I mean, his dad was Rocky Johnson, for Christ's sake, the Soul Man. So it's that lineage is ripe for just greatness. Plus, also, I think his cousin is hot. So Nia Jax. I think Nia Jax, the girl who broke Becky Lynch's face. I actually think she's pretty sexy. I'll send you a picture. She was a plus size model. Yeah. But yeah, man.
Loving too, baby.
Oh, don't they ever? And I'm definitely Mike Awesome from WCW 1999. That's a deep cut for wrestling fans. I'm not that 70s guy. I'm the other thing that Mike Awesome was. The Fat Chick Thriller was what he was known as in WCW. But I'm more of the Fat Chick Disappointer. So it happens.
Kind of down the same road, but you zig where he zags.
I caught a Roberto Duran fist. I went, no mas. No. But what's been going on in the quarantine? What you been doing? Any just kids working out, staying in shape and everything like that?
Yeah. It's hard. You have to get a little inventive with the workouts, so I've been running more, riding my bike more. I have to get creative with just a couple sets of dumbbells and some lightweight kettlebells. But, luckily there's some resources online that you can do to help you. Been studying a lot, study a ton of jiu-jitsu and striking videos. I'm primed, I got my notes, I got my videos on my phone saved, I'm primed when we go back in terms of content and stuff I want to train myself. But yeah, man, it's been kind of dull. I took my first skateboarding lesson the other day. My friend's like, hey man, he's like, I'll teach you how to skateboard. I'm like, okay, man, let's go. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. No cars on the road, pretty awesome. So
it's been weird. I've had some days where I've been a little off and everything, but I'm thinking about, you brought up jiu-jitsu. I saw on YouTube that Hoist Gracie put up a 60-minute seminar. So I'm gonna probably.
That'd be cool.
That. Yeah, I'll link that down below as well because I think people should use that, especially in this time. I've just been mostly walking around doing that. I've been driving a lot. I've driven out to Ashtabula and Conneaut twice in the last month.
What's going on out there?
Nothing, and that's why, because I'm just in my house and I can go. I usually take it's 534, it goes up across from Ashtabula to Conneaut on the lake there. I think it's 534.
Do you mean Geneva on the lake? 534.
Yeah.
Okay, Conneaut's even further. I was like,
yeah.
Shit.
Oh no,
Conneaut's almost like Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But Geneva on the lake. That's close to where I was raised.
Yeah, because you're from Jefferson, Ohio, if I remember.
Close, Montville, Ohio.
Okay. Yes, I've been there actually. I used to work.
So when you're driving to 534, the 528 exit.
Yeah.
The road I lived on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to do Ashtabula County and northern Trumbull County for Terminex back in the day. Yes, I used to drive from Eastlake, Willowick area all the way out to Conneaut 4 times a week. Yeah. And back. Yeah.
Well, that would make sense. That's where all the termites are.
Yes. Madison.
Surprised they had money to pay you.
Oh my God, dude. There were so many times, and you are a small business owner. You understand when people don't pay, but you're in a different like thing when it comes to MMA and all that kind of stuff. And even with hair, like you have to pay right after anyway. You can't just run the fuck out.
Right.
But like, man, I'm gonna tell you something. Ashtabula County and Northern Trumbull County. I love you, but you're some cheap bastards. I hate you. I love you, but you're some cheap bastards. There were so many times.
Ashtabula or Northern Trumbull.
I used to go down to the farthest I would go was Andover. That was like where I would like really go out and just be in the sticks. Right off of 7. I would take 7 all the way into Andover and then like do some pest control like right on the border. It was bad, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's like what's funny is I was raised in the sticks. Like Montville, there's not much there, but we never went east.
No.
Like, so you were going even further into the sticks then if you're going that way.
I saw some hardy folk, let me tell you, dude. I had one guy, and this is like, it's been, God, I think it's been 3 years since I left the company. So, hey, Chairman X. That's just from me to you on the Quarantcast. But I loved the area because like you'd get these psychos. I had this one guy in a circular house right outside of Ashtabula. It was I'm gonna show George's face of like it had like it literally was a circular house. I don't know how this guy built this or how it got made, but it's a marvel of engineering in my opinion. He was a cantankerous fuck, and I hated going to that guy because he never they never answered their phones when I'd call them. They'd never do like follow through on any of the stuff I would tell them to do for like bed bugs and shit. And I'd just be like, and they didn't have bed bugs. This customer with the roundhouse did not have bed bugs. I'm going to confirm that right now. I'm just talking about like the whole area, Ashtabula County and like that area. I mean, Jefferson, I had some very good customers in Jefferson. I liked that area. Montville, same thing. I had some very good people. Rock Creek was another one that's like, whew. Have you ever been to Rock Creek before?
Yeah, I had a friend whose parents owned a campsite out there.
Oh, okay. Was it which one?
I mean, we were legitimately in high school, so.
Okay, because there's like
family asking us not to come back. They were salty. We were like all these young men that were like all like over obnoxious, and they're like, "You guys need to leave."
I used to service those summer homes in Rock Creek. You want to talk about like going from all of a sudden Kansas to Oz. It was like, what the fuck? These $1 million lake houses tucked away in Ohio. It's the craziest thing. It's weird.
It is weird.
It's like those places like right on the Ashtabula or right on the Conneaut like lakeside where those like sheds.
Yeah, no, it's weird. And you got that Pine Bitumen over there, and those are nice. There's some nice houses on there, like, but you still got like some small shacks. So you got this beautiful lake house that's like like $500K, and then there's like like probably the size of like your garage or something like that.
Yeah. It's odd, man. Like, and also like I like Middlefield. That's a cool little spot. They've got there's a one Middlefield coffee company or whatever that's in like Chardon. I used to do their place for just general stuff for when I worked in pest control. But I like
Middlefield better once they put in the Amish buggy lanes. Before they didn't have them. They had narrow roads. Oh my gosh, man. You'd be like stuck and it'd be just like a mile of cars because you couldn't pass these Amish buggies.
Oh yeah, dude. And it was the thing about those when they did put those in, I worked down there for Terminate. Basically that was my entire area. But like it was definitely interesting to all of a sudden see, because as you said, we got so used to being like, oh fuck, traffic jam behind it, like 4 Amish buggies coming from church. No.
Why, God? Why?
And I love the Amish people. They make great butter. But at the same time, come on. Get a car. You can do a lot more work with a truck. I'm just telling
Do you
you.
know how much more effective you could be with an engine?
Dude, I was down in like Eastern on off of 7 and almost hit an Amish dog, like an Amish's dog, and they just stared like, oh, that happens all the time. I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
you.
They wouldn't. Then it's just an animal. They're like, yeah, whatever.
Oh my God, dude. I will tell you, just to keep the laughs going, I was in Middlefield and I saw one of the kids on a scooter, one of those scooters that they'll push that like it looks like a bike, but it doesn't like have any like thing to it.
Okay.
And he was all of a sudden going deeper and deeper below the handlebars. And anybody that remembers razor scooters, we all know what happens to you once you go ass over tea kettle. Uh, and the scooter almost hit my truck, and his like body was like off to the side, and he landed on his ass and just was like, he was like, oh God, what's the guy from Roseanne, the second gay guy with the brown hair? Not Elliot, the other one. Oh, okay, he's from Cleveland. I can't remember his name. He was in Spinal Tap, but he was also in The Mighty Wind, and he said he was like a child star agent. He goes, "What happened?" He just looked everywhere. It was great, and I was just like, "Good, you landed on your head. I hope." Fucking Amish. Make great jerky, but besides that, I have no time. I like technology.
What I do love, I remember the last time I was there and I purchased something. It was heavy, and like the woman asked me, like, she's like, "You know how to, operate a tow motor?" Like when anywhere, like at Home Depot, would they just like throw you the keys to the tow motor and like you'd go to a truck and like unload something? And, yeah.
Oh,
Like the
that's
woman, like she's like, "Oh, here's a knife. Here, cut the, like."
oh my.
When
Oh.
in society would that ever happen? They'd like be so scared of a liability lawsuit.
Probably on a movie set. That would be the other place, and then they'd hire you the next day. If you
Yeah,
were like
right.
if you were like some schlub, you want a PA job? That happened to me once, and I was happy about it. I liked it. I got to go to Colorado, but
That is fun. But you guys are also the you're the piss-ons of the shoot. They're just like,
oh,
yeah, what shit work?
dude, I've been a PA and I've been a radio intern. The radio intern was the most crazy one because of the guests. Like you'd have some like local guests from like Shaker Heights, and then all of a sudden it would be like, oh, we have the Wayans brothers showing up. Like, what the fuck? Who's I
Yeah,
met
you're like,
Paul
how
Reiser.
did?
It was crazy.
That's
That was
pretty
an
cool.
awesome one. That was an awesome one because he fucked with me and was like, nobody gets a picture. Everybody else gets a picture except you. And he still took a picture. I was happy.
There you go. There you go.
Oh man, what have you been binge watching anything good? Anything like you've been watching anything that's like
I would say anything, everything, and anything right now. But I'm all caught up on Ozark. Of
okay?
course,
What'd you
Tiger
think about
King goes
Ozark?
without saying.
What'd you think? I haven't seen
Um,
it, but you can give your review. I'd love to hear it.
yeah, I would say I would go. I would kind of like Dexter, where like Dexter. Are you a Dexter fan?
I've seen episodes, yes. So yeah,
Okay, so Dexter clearly peaked at some point. If you're a fan, okay, it clearly peaked and it continued, and like I kind of felt that. I think there's 3 seasons, and I was like, well, they kind of told their best story already, and now they're just like, I feel like the vultures are coming down to pick whatever meat is left off the, So I don't
Oh,
know. But
I've
it's
seen
good,
that. I've seen that with some shows like Walking Dead. That's why, like, after
The
the one,
vultures are still picking the meat off those bones, man.
I know, but I luckily left after the body had started like opened up from gases. Like I was like, I'm done. It was, it was one. I think it was when they were starting to go to war with Negan's guys and setting that up is when I kind of went, I'm out. I can't really go
It
there.
was
But
it was weird how that like started off. It was really exciting. Like that last episode with Negan was like, you're like, whoa, and then they made those assholes made you wait an entire year to
yeah,
see what happened, and then it was like exhausting after that. You're just like, I'm kind of
yeah.
done.
I'm watching. I just got back into Oz, the show on HBO.
I have seen it. I know people watch it. Don't know what it's about though.
It's a prison show, and I'm trying to actually set up quarantine interviews with some of the cast members for Oz-centric episodes because I want to actually just talk to them about the show in general. So keep tuned for that. Hopefully, it does happen.
Nice.
Excuse me on that burp because I'm edgy and I want to burp into the microphone like a shock jock.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
I don't care. I don't care what the boss thinks. I'm a man. I'm a working man.
Do what I want.
But Oz is basically, it's set in Oswald Correctional Facility. And then it was Oswald State Penitentiary in the beginning. It's got so many people in this show where you go, whoa, Jesus Christ! Like Elliot from SVU is in it. The other character that would play opposite Mariska Hargitay, he plays a character in that. J.K. Simmons, do you know who J.K. Simmons is? He played J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies.
Oh yes,
with
okay.
Maguire.
Yeah.
He plays a Nazi, and very ruthless, mind you. I'm in a certain point right now. I can't say shit if you want to watch this stuff, and I would suggest it's on Prime and free. It's awesome. But he does some ruthless ass shit. The big brother the guy who played Chet, Lee Turgensen. If you know the name Lee Turgensen, he's been in like a bunch of stuff. I want to get him on the Quarantcast badly. He plays Beecher, who's this like nerdy guy that actually gets taken by J.K. Simmons and made his Prague. If you can put that together. Yeah, it's just weird. It's a great show. And you look in like Mayhem from the Allstate commercials is even in it. He plays a character named Ryan O'Reilly. And I love Ryan O'Reilly to death. It's so cool to see all these characters, and like and also Edie Falco's in this as well, from Nurse Jackie and also The Sopranos. She's in it. She plays a guard. It's nuts. It's crazy. They had a riot season 1. I loved it. It's amazing. Got 2 more seasons, and then I'm gonna do everything I can to have these fucking moments of interviewing these people.
Get some closure, get some behind the scenes. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, dude. And that's the one thing I love about it is it's just one of those. It's like watching It's the most real version of a TV show that can be locked up, like that show on MSNBC. And it's really cool how they do a lot of the storylines because you see them and you're like, motherfucker,
Mother of God.
Yeah. Did you watch? Did you? I usually do this at the end, but I want to talk to you about this possibly. You watch Tiger King, yeah?
Oh yeah. Oh
Dude.
yeah. I'm all about it. I think I tried to watch it twice. Yeah.
I did too. I got to like episode 4 and then like tapped out again because I'm just like, but I love it. What did you think about it right off the rip? Like, what was?
Yeah, I was second. I realized that that Carol was also a crazy cat person. The second like that came across to me, the second that I'm like, wait. Wait. She's like a sanctuary person, but wait, she's also like kind of weird. And like, what's the difference between what she's doing and yeah, once that penetrated my brain, I'm like, this is fantastic. And I'm like, everyone is nuts. All these people are crazy. I'm like, I'm watching this until the bitter end. And I think I watched it like, a day.
I did too. I watched it with my friend Shauna, who was on the first episode of this show. I convinced her to watch because I watched.
Actually, I think you convinced me to watch. Didn't you do a Facebook post?
I did. I was the one that got you into it. Yes.
Yeah, you did. You did. I think you were just like, oh my God, Tiger King is up on Netflix. And I'm like, that was definitely it.
Dude, it was so crazy. And also, like, I found out about Joe Exotic through Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. I watched that. I watched like the clips and stuff. And when the presidential race in 2016 was happening, he actually talked about Joe Exotic in the candidate like pool for elections and stuff. So I knew who Joe Exotic was. I just wanted to drive more into like the crazy that was Joe Exotic.
Oh, so good. I wish they wouldn't have burnt down all that footage from the first time they were trying to film a reality show.
I know. I feel so bad for that dude because especially since he was on a current affair as well. Like that dude had credentials in the media world. And the fact that he couldn't get that made, I'm so upset with Hollywood.
And then someone else went and made all that dude's money. Yeah, right. Like, and then he
Yeah.
just got up and left after that. You know?
It's like, what the fuck, dude? How can you take an idea, especially from that guy who like gave up his life? He fucking gave up everything to live in a zoo with a crazy mulleted meth eating, not even smoking. I think he was eating it. He was eating like rock candy probably. And
Up there, the Spencer's like
ironically, it's actually just a house cat. He's just like that was, and the Seth thing. Like, what do you think when like you all of a sudden realized Seth got her arm ripped or their arm ripped off, and like,
oh, that was amazing.
Oh my God. It was crazy, dude. I've never ever seen somebody. I wouldn't go back to work. Fuck that. You think I'd be too emotionally stressed.
I just wonder how long. Like, do you think it was a quick?
Oh, that's
like that's what I'm trying to picture off in my head. Like, so she's like, he or she, I can't remember.
I think they're non-binary. They go by.
Okay, is that it?
Shout out to my cousin Aaron for letting me know that.
Thank you, Aaron. So she's petting it, grabs a hold. I mean, like, so is it like tugging on it, like ripping, and then like after like 10, 15 seconds rips off? Or like, is it just like a clean, like a shark?
I would assume when it would be like a shark bite almost, where like the shark has to get a hold of you first and kind of then rip from there. If you think about how a tiger's jaw and like that kind of predatory animal jaw is, it's an interesting, like, it's just like a bear trap. It's just, and then all of a sudden you're done. And
it's just gone. So you think it was quick, huh?
I think it was some tugging, no pun intended, but it wasn't like, I honestly think it was more like and then it was just off once the tiger
just done, huh?
Through. Yeah, I think the tiger kind of just went arm, and then it went like ripped, and then it just all of a sudden fucked her up. Like it was crazy. And of course, Joe Exotic, I will never financially recover from this.
And he just goes in. He's like, I'm just gonna be straight up with everybody. Someone stuck their head in a can to the guy who did the guy.
Oh my God, man!
I would have still wanted to go. I would have been like, "Can I still go?"
Yeah. I'd be like, did you clean the blood off the cage at least? Like, if I don't have to see that, we're fine. No, make sure there's no fiber hanging. How about that? Like, her arm. I bet Steph's arm. And no offense, I'm making a joke, obviously, but I bet Steph's arm after the bite looked like that plate of meat that the Carol Baskin was feeding the tiger.
Oh God!
During your kitty. Oh man. And also I'm gonna go on record as saying something real fast. I'm so happy that that was not his singing voice. That was not his singing voice. Cause like I was jealous of the mullet. I didn't need any more reason to hate him.
Yeah. like you don't have to be a good singer too. What the hell?
Yeah. And every time now, me and my buddy John, we always, before we play Grand Theft Auto, we always play I Saw a Tiger.
Oh, I love that. That's the best song ever written. And then that's probably the best part. Actually, I take that back. Not her getting her arm ripped off, but like him singing and him talking at the funeral.
Oh my God.
There was probably actual humans, like actual like real human beings that aren't crazy that were attending that funeral.
Yeah.
And to hear talk about putting his balls in his face. Amazing.
He rubbed his balls in my face. Like, ew. And it's those eyes too. He has those weird, like piercing blue, where it's like I don't know whether this dude's gonna try and sell me like a lighthouse somewhere, or he's gonna sell me eternal damnation. I don't know where he's coming from. So
No one knows.
and how about like when you saw Meth Teeth? I forget his name already, but was it John something or other? The one that John Henry with the meth teeth. What was your opinion on him?
My first one is like, why is his shirt off? Like, I don't get it. Like,
well, at least from Oklahoma.
two, no, the teeth. Yeah, I'm just like, oh well, this is great. I'm like, so he's got his shirt off, showing off his tattoos, and he's got no teeth. This is just fantastic television right now. Thank you.
Well, I mean, he did meet his wife in a zoo, so because they're married, those two are married now, and but that funeral, dude, because his Travis is the kid that killed himself. His mom was there, and I saw her. Yeah, dude, she was the one because she came with him. She was gonna come with him and like live there and do all this kind of shit. And like it got bad, dude. Like it got ooh. That and the footage that haunted me. I haven't seen anything like that since R. Bud Dwyer, but R. Bud Dwyer was actually more enjoyable.
What's the I don't know what our Bud Dwyer is.
Oh my god, you know what R. Bud Dwyer is? It's basically the if you were to put, I would say the R. Bud Dwyer video is Tiger King the short clip. Like it's R. Bud Dwyer is a famous story from the Pennsylvania area. He was a senator or a governor, and he got into a bunch of corruption charges.
Oh, and he shot himself right on TV. Never mind. Okay, yeah, never mind. Oh, that was.
Yeah, dude. I would rather watch our Bud than watch fucking Travis, because during that whole movie, you see that psychosis go a little bit farther into him, where you're like, there's, whew, I don't want to be there right now. Pointing like guns and shit at people too, like, ew. Rednecks, dude. And he's from like California, so he's like California white trash. That makes it even more fun.
Those are an interesting blend, yeah, right,
dude. And even the other amputees, or because I think there two amputees besides Seth, or was it there was a
guy missing a leg, but I don't think it had anything to do with
it was
I wish. God,
it was a zip lining accident. No, that was a zip lining accident, because he was like, yeah, I cut my legs off with a zip line.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
No, I know.
So much good stuff.
No. my favorite part of the whole thing too, and it wasn't Carol, and I'm hoping this man that I'm about to say, we need a Doc Antle documentary. Even if it's something where there's like extra footage gets leaked on the internet or something, make a classy documentary about Doc Antle and then keep the cameras rolling. Why not? Trick the motherfucker.
You know, I don't think they'll get him again, because they kind of fibbed to him. Well, not that they fibbed to him, but they said they were doing a documentary, and they didn't know that it would be such a personality piece on him, and that's why I like. You know, it's kind of mean. Like, so he thought they were making. Like, so that's why he like did that weird thing when he spelled out his name.
Yeah.
But like he thought he was helping him with the show. Like, but you can follow him on Instagram, and it's good. It's kind of you get a little extra.
There's a moment in Tiger King that unnerved me and made me want to see more of Doc Antle, and it was when he had that blue golf shirt on, and he had the tiger chain, and all of a sudden he goes, "Somebody didn't clean my shirt or the chain properly. My shirt's dirty." And you just see his face go from just to like, and you knew some shit was going on behind.
Like when those cameras turned off, like someone got bitch slapped.
They probably got put on a wooden X or something, fucking or probably in a stockade. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Do you think she did it? Do you think Carol did it?
Am I allowed to be 50-50? Because,
What?
dude, I just don't know how someone reacts like that. Like, she's like, yeah, they think I fed my husband. What? Dude, like,
That's
usually they would, like, plead the fifth. They'd be like, I'm not even addressing that. That's so stupid. That would be, like, the professional common way. But, like, she just addresses it and goes with it.
well, that's honestly, I think it's because she has lived this lie for so long that it's like, oh, I would never do that. We've all seen those like weird codependent mothers that kind of go crazy and like kill the husband. And then it's like, oh, I would never do that. Yeah, you did. There's actually a good example in Oz of this woman who sort of did the same thing where in North Carolina, where the woman shot her car off of like a boat dock and like drowned her kid. It was like in '94 this happened in like North Carolina, but I had to look that up because of Oz. But like she even goes like it was an accident. Like it's that coping mechanism, dude. She's nuts. She's out there, son. Like I've never seen a woman that crazy, and I've been with some crazy girls in my life, man. Who Carol Baskins is just like, and then what you said, like she wants to be tight. She wants to be the true Tiger King of
Yeah.
all, and that's the
So good.
scariest part. That she's like a mafia don, brother. It's awesome. I love it. Oh man, I love it. It's good times, man. Hey George, we're gonna stop the recording and then we're gonna talk a little bit off air and hang out a little bit. And I appreciate you coming on, my friend. And we will have you
right
up.
Back at you, man.
Absolutely, it'll be up on the YouTube channel soon. And look for that at Ray Hyclak and just search Ray Hyclak's Quarantcast. George Comer, give everybody the proverbial lovely social medias, and we will go from there.
Yeah. So I'm a head MMA and catch wrestling coach at Revolution Fight and Fitness in Euclid, Ohio. Check us out. We're on most social medias, and it's a good time, man. So if you're thinking about martial arts, boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu Jitsu, MMA, come check us out, man. We're a good time.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm high. It's okay, guys. We appreciate you guys watching on the Quarantcast. We come out every Monday, and we can get an audio version of this on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else you want to get your podcast met or needs met. Thank you very much. I will see you next week. I'm Ray Hyclak for the Quarantcast and George Comer. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you very much.